Good evening and greetings from Baltimore. Today is a day off for the tour, and very happy about that. Um, Even though we only have 3 shows in, I'm already tired. Uh, Overall, today was a very good day, minus the semi-rude awakening at 7:30 when we got booted from our bus. The hotel we're at doesn't have bus parking, so we were all kind of kicked off, and our driver doesn't quite know the how our crew works yet, so it's a rather loud, obnoxious wake-up call. Um, Most of us would either rather know ahead of time that we're doing this or just sleep in. We'll take a cab to the hotel if it's far away. Anyways, aside from that, it was a good day. Went out for a couple pints, a couple of boys in a nice little local bar, and caught some emails and had some good work calls as well. Um, I had a chat with a friend of mine, Chris. Look at the company, so I make sure I get this right here. Let's see. I want to make sure I give him the proper shout out he deserves. Here we go. All right. So, Chris is with a company called Digital Elements, and they are the designers and owners of App Trigger. So, for you recording guys, of which I used to be, you'll probably remember App Trigger as being one of the early sound replacer apps for recording. That one, for drums specifically, along with there's Drumagog. Those are the kind of two main ones that were third party. Apparently, they have a new version they're making out, which is essentially what Rick and I use on stage, although far cheaper, which is nice. So I did chat with these guys today about their new software and what they're doing with it, and offered a few points of advice about things I think they need to add. They are definitely going for a different market than Peter Hart did when he designed D-Trig, which is what Rick uses. These guys are kind of doing a little more of a lower price, broad approach, which I think is great because I think there's not a lot of stuff out there to get people into use electronics the way they're meant to be used. There's so many amazing things you can do as a drummer when you start adding electronics to your kit, more than just giving yourself an 808 sound. And Rick is proof of that. You know, when you hear Leopard Show, there's all kinds of things going on. There's loops, intros, just a lot of different possibilities you add. Sorry about that. A lot of different possibilities you add when you add electronics. But the options to do that are pretty slim. Drum modules are a bit of a pain in the ass, and there's latency issues, and it's variable latency issues, which is a huge thing for drums. What these guys are doing is very similar to what Peter developed with D-Trig, which is a rock-solid system with a fixed low latency that allows you to basically put whatever sounds you want in. I haven't worked this stuff yet. I think I'm going to get a copy of the license maybe next couple weeks to demo once I get back to LA, just to see how it works. But overall, I'm pretty excited that there are more companies doing this stuff, and there's that price point where the average kid in the street can afford to, I think it's like $80 for their software with a sound library, and it'll basically run just about any computer. So the average, kid starting a band in his garage, if he wants to do electronics, he can do that. Pretty neat. Also, just along with all this, it's good to catch up with Chris a little bit. Chris used to work for, what company was it? I think it was D-Drum, maybe. He worked with Rick about 12 years ago on some stuff, whatever he was using prior to the Heart Dynamics pads that Rick had for a long time. And then I met him 4 years ago when the Gen 16 cymbals came out from Zildjian. Chris was one of the guys that kind of the forefront of designing that system when they were going for more of a pro setup. I think now they're called like the low 80 or low volume 80, or they're more practice cymbal now, but the focus of him and a few other people behind it were really going for a pretty high-end, amazing contact mic setup. I think it's just one of those products that probably got beat up with marketing, and just flew over to people's heads to see the possibilities. But Chris is one of those guys who just comes with amazing ideas and knows how to make them happen. So I think him being involved with the app trigger will be pretty neat in the future. I did want to address a couple things real quick. I got a little YouTube comment from Andy, and asking about some rumors regarding next year's tour. So next year is the band's 40th anniversary, at least the way they're looking at it. Depending on how you want to look at them forming, whether it's 77, 78, but they're doing the 40th next year, and there will be a tour. As Alex says, it's to say at the end of the show, there will be next time. There's a tour in the works. However, what I can and cannot say about the tour is a different story. One, because I work for the band, so I can't just spill a bunch of secrets. And two, it's really far early in the planning stages. I know that they're a year in advance that management's working on routing, figuring all that fun stuff out, and talking to their acts, to tour with for shows. But as far as staging and everything else, it's way too early to say. Specifically, though, Andy wants to know about for touring the round. As a rumor has been going around, no pun intended. I will say I have heard that rumor, but without confirming or denying whether that's going to happen, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of music industry insight here. Touring the round is expensive, very expensive. You double the size of your PA and a lot of other elements. You have to add more crew. It gets really cost prohibitive to do a tour in the round. Now, Leopard did one of the first tours around, possibly the first tour around, at least major tour, on the Hysteria tour. And yeah, it would be really awesome to be able to go out and hey, 4th anniversary, back in the round. And who knows, that could happen, that might not happen. I don't know. So that's it. I truly do not know. But I will say, from talking to my other friends who've been on tours in the round, and even our production management staff and managers, it is incredibly expensive to tour that way. So I wouldn't hold my breath. It would be cool, but once again, it's the economics of touring have changed a lot in the last 30 years and in the last 10 years. And your biggest expense is just getting your gear from one place to the other. It's one of the reasons why ticket prices have gone up. Which I don't think people would truly realize is how much is involved in getting a show set up in a day. A lot. I look at ticket prices, and before I was really touring a lot, you'd see a ticket for $50, $60. You're like, I can't believe it's so expensive. How can anybody charge that much? And then you get out on the road, and you realize, there's a dozen semis. There's all the tour buses, and they're getting 5-6 miles a gallon when they're fully loaded with 80,000 pounds of gear on them. You've got anywhere from 20 to 60 staff, depending on the size of the tour, sometimes even more. Hotel rooms, flights, food. It's and then you just throw on the cost of the gear itself. A video wall is incredibly pricey to rent. The PA system, staging, that stuff adds up, and it's one of those things that, especially when you just throw, and that's just in the States. If you throw international shipping, that gets really insane. The band actually purchased and had the road crew build we call our C rig, which is our third system. We have three rigs, A, B, and C, and the A and B rigs are roughly the same. They're the giant kits you guys see. The C rig is the kit I did a tour a little while ago, and essentially the amount of money that cost was paid for by just saving shipping, because if we had to ship with other kits on a plane, you're talking the drum kit alone is almost one pallet on an airplane. Airplane pallets, I think, are 8 by 10, I believe. They're called cookie sheets in the industry, and for cargo planes. And basically, drum kit takes up almost one of those things. So It's really expensive. Now we have the entire kit, the entire backline sits on one pallet of the C rig. So to go do like a show in Singapore we did a couple years ago, um, that wouldn't have been cost feasible for the band if we were shipping one of our other kits. If we were shipping a full, B rig or A rig backline, it wouldn't be worthwhile to go. That's also why sometimes we're you people want to know, like, well, why haven't the band been here? Trust me, the crew all wants to go. The band wants to go. Like, they're having a blast on stage. It's just the thing of the reality of getting gear to certain places. Just it makes it really difficult to tour those some spots. We are, the band's very specific on their consoles for the audio side of things, and those are hard to get some places. If we have to bring with us, it's really expensive, and just the gear itself. We have some shows coming up later on this year. I think one of them's already been announced, so you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but those probably wouldn't be happening if we didn't have the ability to ship smaller equipment, or to do we call it slow boat when you pack a sea container. It takes forever to get there, which is why we have 3 rigs. We do that kind of stuff. But if it was just a matter of us hopping on a plane and going to head down to Sydney or Malaysia or somewhere, you really can't do that in a band at this level. These the guys, their level of acceptability is really, really high. It's not like arrogance things. Just they want to put on a good show. Like Rick, when if he walks off stage, Rick will tell me he's like, I did an off night, and I always tell him, it's like, your version of a good show versus a bad show is 100% versus 95%. Your version of a bad show, 5 people in the crowd know, wow, Rick was off tonight. It's like that's the level these guys are at, which means everything with production has to be that level as well. And the crew, we all take that very seriously. We take that, so it's a very, very long story short. It makes hopping some of those places a little more difficult, but I have a feeling that possibly in the future more of these places will be on the radar. Once again, don't quote me on anything, because I will deny it. I will remove this video, and I will say I never said anything. And also, I'm just the drum tech. Like I know, like I was talking to Chris earlier today, and he asked me about where the shows were, if I was going to be near him. I'm like, dude, I don't even know where I was yesterday, or where I'm going tomorrow. And that's not for a drinking thing. It's just more the fact that, like, when I'm on tour, my job is just to take care of the drums on stage. Nothing else matters. So there you go. Also, Andy wants to know what Rick does with the sticks and if he can have one. Short answer to the second part is no. We use the head drumsticks. They're aluminum, so they're really, really expensive, and we don't throw them out. The sticks themselves have a aluminum core, and then we put a stick wrap on with some better grip for Rick, and then there's a nylon shaft that goes over the aluminum core with a little screw on nylon tip. Basically, I do a show on that stick configuration, and then I unscrew the little tip of it, remove the nylon, swap out a new one, put the tip back on, and it's a new stick for the next show. I don't get that many of those things. I think a head, like I didn't request any new ones this year, but I think the head routinely will get us maybe 2 dozen a year. Past that, we pay for them, and they are very pricey, especially compared to wooden sticks. Rick will occasionally pass them out. I will occasionally give them out, but it's a pretty rare thing, just because I don't keep a lot of them on stock. A typical drummer play wood sticks will have 4 or 5 bricks in his. A tech will have 4 or 5 bricks in his work box at all times. You might have 96 pairs of sticks just on hand, and you can always order more of them, have them shipped the next day. They're $10 a bundle or free depending on your deal, whereas these things are considerably higher. I haven't done the math, but we're probably on the order of 1,000% or more. So it's something that I just I don't feel comfortable passing those out on a regular basis, because it's expensive inventory and they don't belong to me. Yeah. Sorry, Andy. Although who knows? Maybe if I think you're in the UK, if I remember. Maybe if we come to the UK, sometime we'll get a pint at a bar and I'll sub one day. Who knows? Drumstick, that is. I think that's about it for today. It's a pretty long little chat, but I'll catch you guys tomorrow. We have a show day in Baltimore. For the life of me, I cannot remember this venue. I'm sure I'll recognize when I walk in, but I can't remember the last time I did an indoor gig in Baltimore that wasn't in a club. So I guess we'll see you tomorrow. But thanks for stopping by.